Let go or be dragged. Why the universe works better without your control. The surprising power of surrender and how life organizes itself when you stop gripping so hard. The myth of control. You are taught to hold on, hold yourself together, hold others accountable, hold your future in your hands. But what if the most powerful thing you could do was let go? We've been conditioned to grip life like it's trying to escape us, as if every moment not mastered might betray us. So we strategize. We script our futures on vision boards. We treat the universe like a rogue employee who won't follow directions. But what if the universe isn't disobedient? What if it's just waiting for you to trust it? Paulo Coelho once wrote, "When you want something, all the universe conspires in helping you to achieve it, not because you forced it, because you aligned with it." That same wisdom whispers an ancient heresy. You don't have to control life for it to work. In fact, it works because you don't. The menu that couldn't be eaten. Why mental options paralyze the heart? As Joseph Campbell said, we must be willing to let go of the life we've planned so as to have the life that is waiting for us. Imagine walking into a restaurant with a 40-page menu. You flip through every dish, overwhelmed. You don't order. You don't eat. You're starving, but paralyzed by possibility. This is what it's like when every spiritual or life decision becomes a performance. You think more choice means more freedom, but it doesn't. It means more fear, because choosing means losing. Every yes is 1,000 no's, and the ego doesn't want to lose anything. So you loop endlessly. You call it discernment, but it's indecision dressed in spiritual drag. And underneath it all, the fear of being wrong. But you can't navigate the Tao by being right. You navigate by moving, by trusting, by digesting life itself, not the menu. So what happens when you stop trying to choose perfectly and start trusting the system you're already part of? How democracy and nature work the same way. Look at a tree. It doesn't control its branches. It doesn't command its roots. It grows by trusting the whole system. Some call this shared intelligence. Buckminster Fuller called it synergy. It's the collective wisdom of a system where no single part can grasp the whole. This is why leaders who delegate thrive. This is why ecosystems flourish. The more power you give away, the more powerful the whole becomes. And the paradox? You become part of something far more intelligent than your anxious ego could ever calculate. The Kontiki principle. Harmony through ignorance. Surrender is like a fish finding the current and going with it. Mark Nepo Thor Heyerdahl sailed a primitive raft across the Pacific Ocean using almost no modern tech. He didn't fight nature, he cooperated with it. The soaked wood swelled, tightening the lashings. Flying fish landed on the deck for breakfast. The ocean adjusted to his trust. It's a vivid example of how, when you act in tune with the Tao, things click. You stop forcing. You start noticing. Life conspires with your openness. That's not magic. That's alignment. Utopia isn't fantasy. It's functional. If people don't learn how to enjoy life, some teachers warn, they'll destroy it. Not out of malice, out of boredom, out of endless seeking, scrolling, distracting, blaming. Enjoyment is not luxury. It's evolution. You're not here to suffer and hope for reward. You are here to enjoy, to co-create, to dance. But you can't do that with clenched fists. A garden left untended doesn't just stop growing, it gets choked by weeds. Joy is your sunlight. Laughter is your water. Pleasure is the pollination of your spirit. Without them, the soil of your being turns hard, cracked, barren. You don't need joy as a reward. You need it as sustenance. Because without beauty, the soul forgets why it came here at all. The beautiful breakdown of not knowing. Always say yes to the present moment. What could be more futile than to oppose life itself, which is now and always now? Eckhart Tolle. What do you want? Most people don't know. Or worse, they think they know. But the honest answer, I don't know. That's not ignorance. That's sacred ground. Bodhidharma said it. The Upanishads echoed it. When you admit you don't know, you open the door to being known by something deeper. Not knowing is the first surrender, the first step into the current. Imagine standing at the edge of a fog-covered cliff, unable to see more than a few feet ahead. Your mind screams for a map, but then you take a step and the path appears beneath your foot. One step, one unveiling. The path doesn't show itself until you move, and it never shows the whole thing. Not knowing isn't the obstacle, it's the design. Because if you could see the whole journey, you'd try to control it, predict it, avoid the parts that scare you. But when you walk by trust instead of sight, you don't just discover the path, you discover yourself as the path. You already have it. Why don't we know what we want? Because we already have it. The self you seek is the one looking. You think you're missing something, but you're missing nothing. You're just looking from the wrong angle, from separation instead of union. As Nisargadatta said, the I am is enough. The moment you stop trying to acquire is the moment you start to recognize. A thirsty traveler searches the desert for water, carrying a heavy jug. Miles pass. No oasis. Just sand and sun. Finally exhausted, he collapses. As he falls, the jug tilts and water spills onto his face. It had been full the entire time. Because what's already within you doesn't need to be earned, only received. The divine isn't earned, it's allowed. True surrender, however, is something entirely different. Surrender is the simple but profound wisdom of yielding to rather than opposing the flow of life. Eckhart Tolle, a monk, once asked his teacher, "What must I do to attain enlightenment?" The teacher replied, "As much as you must do for the sun to rise. You don't earn awakening through effort. You stumble into it through surrender. You stop trying to fix the world. You stop rehearsing your enlightenment. You stop performing the spiritual checklist. A flower doesn't bloom by pushing. It opens by allowing. And so to you, it begins in stillness, in exhale. In the moment, you stop trying to be spiritual and just ah, and something begins to pulse. The Tao, the self, the divine field. It doesn't reward your struggle. It receives your trust. And in that trust, something ancient softens inside you, like sunlight finally reaching a place that had forgotten it could be warm. So, what now? We are at our most powerful, the moment we no longer need to be powerful. Eric Michael Leventhal. The moment of surrender is not when life is over. It's when it begins. Marianne Williamson. You let go of the grip, the plans, the pretending. You stop demanding answers. You start listening for direction. You let it move through you. And in doing so, you don't despair. You finally appear, not as the one in control, but as the one in flow, where you always were. where you never left, where the universe has been waiting to meet you, open-handed, alive, because once you stop gripping so hard, you realize the universe had been holding you the whole time. And maybe, just maybe, it was conspiring to help you all along.